Along with the one-year mark of the coronavirus officially being declared a pandemic, Oklahoma is now moving into phase 3 of the vaccine. If you and a small group of people have been fully vaccinated, you can soon remove your mask and have a small social gathering inside. OU and MMJ students emphasize the importance of unity, diversity, and education. One of the best ways to educate yourself is a simple Google search. The shelter also has a tiny home village full of homes just like this, where individuals and families can come and work with a case manager to ensure that they beat homelessness forever. Since Norman Public Schools have gone online, students have had to find creative ways to learn outside of the classroom. Goddard Health Center is one of 3 locations in Norman to get tested for COVID-19. The other 2 are Kate Center right here at OU and ME Labs. One homeless shelter in Norman has welcomed hundreds of homeless Oklahomans in, but has always had the fear that COVID-19 may come in as well.
Within the homeless community, it's really a challenge because they live in a communal environment, inside and outside. So it's always been our greatest concern that the second COVID finds its way into our community, that it would spread really quickly.
Nonetheless, Norman Food and Shelter has continued their mission of feeding and housing the homeless during the pandemic.
I tell people that we at Food and Shelter do 2 things really well. We feed people who are hungry, and we take in those who are lost and homeless and help them find their way back home.
Norman Food and Shelter serves over 200,000 meals a year out of their dining room alone. The shelter also offers different types of housing depending on a person's situation. The shelter also has a tiny home village full of homes just like this, where individuals and families can come and work with a case manager to ensure that they beat homelessness forever. Every case is different, but the fight to end homelessness is the same. After a racist remark from an announcer, students are calling for a change.
The broadcaster should be held accountable so something like this doesn't happen in the future.
Matt Rowan, the announcer at a recent Norman High basketball game, called players a racial slur after they knelt during the national anthem.
We all just decided to come as a team and kneel together because we wanted to bring attention and awareness to the fact that racism is still alive and well today.
OU National Association of Black Journalists held an open forum discussion for OU students to talk about racism in the media.
I think that if we want to address racism in the media, we need to start by being intentional with the words we use, because we have no idea how detrimental our words can be to a particular community and to ending systemic oppression.
OU and MMJ students emphasize the importance of unity, diversity, and education. One of the best ways to educate yourself is a simple Google search.
Google is free. You can find so many good resources.
But the first step is truly wanting to make a change.
Until people want true equity, true equality for everyone, there's not going to be an end.
We also know there are so many Oklahomans in the hospital that the health department says there are only 6% of ICU beds available across the entire state. OU Nightly's Claire Easley talked to OU's chief COVID officer today and tells us there may be reason for the COVID crisis. The impact of a historic ice storm, a Norman favorite is fighting flames, and the start of early voting in Oklahoma. This is OU Nightly. As the November general election rapidly approaches, 2 groups are drawing sharp lines on State Question 805. OU Nightly's Mackenzie Gladney spoke with representatives on both sides of the issue. Thanks, Emma. The Biden administration plans to send millions of COVID vaccines over the border to Canada and Mexico. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki confirmed 7 million available doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. 2.5 million of those are on track to go to Mexico and 1.5 million to Canada. Both Mexico and Canada are struggling with their vaccine rollout compared to the U.S. The Biden administration is waiting for official usage approval and is expected to share more information about the plans tomorrow. And low-dose aspirin may keep COVID-19 patients out of the ICU. A new